Hi there, that's right. It's Nick Dutch and I'm back on the camera again, and we've got a reading today for a YouTube user whose YouTube channel name is Lumeriam. And Lumeriam has asked a very interesting question, okay? Because Lumeriam actually wants to become someone who is a practicing psychic herself. And so what she wants to do is to find out whether she's going to have a massive spiritual breakthrough soon, so that she can then do her own psychic work in the future. I think that's a very fascinating question, and I think it needs to be tackled in a wide variety of different ways. You know, what do we mean by spiritual? Is spiritual and psychic the same thing? Does spirituality and psychicness, whatever psychicness is, have to occur at the same time? Is spiritual or emotional and intellectual development a prerequisite for becoming someone who is a practicing psychic, or is it more down to the exercises of meditation, prayer, and the more sort of spiritual mind-altering stuff? There's a wide variety of different angles one has to take when one's going through the process. And to be honest, alright, a lot of the learning you do just by doing. When I was starting to do tarot professionally, over the telephone and over the internet, I learnt a bit more about the meanings of the cards. Little questions would come up with the enquirers that would correlate even better with the signs I would see in the cards themselves, and the feelings and thoughts and energies that I was actually receiving. So I could then build up a much bigger picture of what the meanings meant, rather than just by reading books on tarot and doing readings for myself and for my friends. Although I did do plenty of readings for myself and for my friends. When I was a young man, about the age of 19, I'd take my tarot pack down to the local pub and I would do readings for people, alright, completely free of charge. Or sometimes for a mineral water here and there. When I was a student, I did trade my psychic skills for beer, I have to confess, but that was many years ago now. What I would say is, the more you practice, the more you get to understand. And practice is basically important. It's one of the things that we have to do, okay? It's not just a question of getting out plenty of books on the meanings of the tarot cards. It's not just a question of hoping and praying that moment will come when your spiritual ability will start to emerge. This is multifaceted. I learned some of my skills from actually being a spiritual healer. I used to go to a Christian spiritualist church, and I learned about healing from experiencing healings from other people. And I also learned about healings through doing healings to other people. And I learned what kind of experiences I would have up here, you know, that was all part of the whole healing experience. And I would realise that there was always a bit of a two-way dialogue going on, and I'd have to understand that and learn how to interact with that properly and wisely, as well as to think carefully about the questions that were asked me when I was doing readings, to see or to make sure that the responses I gave were actually appropriate to what the clients actually needed, as well as what the reading was saying. Because sometimes it's a question of what the cards say, sometimes it's a question of what something else says, or something inside here says, okay? And there's a wide variety of possible sources for the full, complete meaning of the reading itself. And as such, you need to build up your understanding just bit by bit, okay? But I will do a quick reading for you, and we'll just see what kind of message comes through. Remember, this is a process, okay? There's no sort of like on-off switch for this, okay? Let's just have a quick look. Alright. Looking very interesting so far. Very interesting indeed. From the outset, I'd say you're putting a bit too much pressure on yourself. 3 of coins often means hard work to me. Either hard work being done or too much hard work being done, and these are the first signs you've got. You're very eager. Being eager is very positive at the right circumstances, shall we say. But for intuitive work and spiritual work, you need to take a bit more of a relaxed attitude. I became a much better reader when I became much more relaxed about what I was experiencing, and I would be a little more emotionally open and intellectually open, which is something which is very difficult to describe to someone else, but it's something that you feel, and you start to get to grips with knowing when you're feeling more open, more receptive towards imagery and symbols and messages and all the rest of that. But funnily enough, and this is where it gets interesting, with the passage of time in your reading, we've got signs which are much more tranquil, much more spiritual. The emphasis is not towards hard work, purely upon the cartomancy side of things, and that's only part of it, mind. There are no more coin signs. There's no more signs of the earth elements, of hard work, of effort, of stress and strain. It's not there. It's all to do with the water elements, all to do with the symbolism relating to love and care and compassion. We've got signs here directly relating to a sense of loving energy. You do actually care deep down inside. It's not just a question of just trying to get that moment when everything will work out all right. You actually want things to work out okay. Strong sense of femininity, of your gentler nature coming to the fore and using that more. Sometimes during my readings I've actually noticed a sensation where the heart chakra is supposed to be, and I could feel a form of warmth and a form of empathy which would actually emanate from and seem to be somehow connected to that heart chakra area. I felt that that was my empathy opening up to my client, and you may get that experience too. Remember, that's also a two-way street. It can push and it can pull, and sometimes you can project that to other people and sometimes you can receive it from people. And I sometimes get the impression from my own intuition that the heart itself can receive electrical impressions just as it can give out electrical energy. And that can somehow be interpreted by your nervous system. That's purely hypothetical, but that's the way it seems to be sometimes, especially with me, okay? Because you can sense through, it seems like you can sense through all of your different chakras in various different ways. And they all have some kind of feeling and meaning associated with whatever is coming through for you in that reading. Now, the long-term future signs, that's very interesting. All very passionate, all very strong, all very determined. Are you planning on writing a book? Are you planning on showing someone else how it's done? Obviously very positive, but it's a question of how you do it. Don't be too forceful when you do, because you can always close someone off when you're too forceful at them. Alright? The passive voice is the way that we do our teachings. Good fortune, God and or Goddess, and on none of the above bless. Nick Dutch, signing out for now.